Howdy, guys. How are y'all all doing? Welcome to another Monday evening. The last Monday in August. Can you believe it? When I was on Big Brother, once we got into September, we had like 3 weeks left. That was it. Not so much this year. We're just getting started. 74 more days worth of Big Brother. Summer, I guess we're getting close to coming to a close. You can't tell by being outside. It was like 111 degrees here yesterday, so pretty brutal. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Thank you for joining me inside. Some of you may be outside watching, but thank you for joining me. Welcome to another episode of Cliff Notes Live, most favorite time of the year, Big Brother. So we'll be talking a lot of Big Brother this evening. Let me start off with the big old SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love reality TV fans. Especially love Big Brother fans, especially love the folks that join me here every night live and on replay as well. Never want to forget you guys. Thank y'all. It's like a little family effect here. So thank y'all so much for joining me. Now, with that being said, I'll just throw this out here while I can. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, if you haven't already turned on your notifications, please consider doing so, because I do more than just Cliff Notes Live. I do the morning recaps every morning. You see the shadows under my eyes. Yeah, I'm starting to get a lot of those, but I do the morning recaps as well. What a crazy season it's been so far. So if you turn on your notifications, you'll know as soon as I drop my video. I try to do it early in the morning, but sometimes these house guests are still staying up late. I just don't know when to shut it down. But turn on your notifications and you'll get alerts as soon as I post that video out there. So there you go. All right, let's see who's out here real quick before, and then y'all bring on the questions and opinions. I want to know what y'all think's going on Big Brother wise, what you like, don't like, people you like, don't like. Lots to talk about. All right. Mike Johnson, howdy, Mike, yourself. How you doing? Joe Blow, Mark Taylor. Yeah, I'll answer that question in a second. Marilyn Sutherland, Portland Trailblazers TV. Hey, Portland. How's school going? Michelle Moore, Jake the Horror Movie Geek. Hey, Jake. Excuse me, Marilyn. Did I say Marilyn? I'll say it again. Marilyn, how are you doing? Cindy Heyer, Amanda Lowe, Andy W, Paula Scar. I just love reading all these names out here every week. Tommy Flanagan, Terry Thomas, Desiree Watts, Bobby Wallace, Kiki, Terry. Let's see, I got you, Terry. But I'll say again, Keith Franken. Keith, how you doing? Nunez, Ryan 51, Tina Warner, Lucinda S, Vicky Stone. And I lost my train of thought here. Angie. Hey, Angie. How are you? Patricia Miller, Tina Harlan Sandstedt, Karen W, Jamie Corrales, Elsa Knight, Barbara Schultz. And I think we're about there. Melanie Whitening. I wasn't going for Wilkening. Sorry. Linda Morgan, Chris Time, and SJKHville. And Vicky, I think I said you before, but I'll say it again. How y'all all doing? Like I say, I hope y'all are staying a little cooler than I do down here. It was a rough weekend to be outside. Great weekend to be inside watching Big Brother live feeds. And Lord knows I watched a lot of. I'm so tired of that little spinning golden tunnel when they're breaking away. That veto competition, it took forever. Of course, we got to watch the pressure cooker, right? What did y'all think about the pressure cooker? Did you enjoy that? Did you like the outcome? Did you like the fact that it lasted almost exactly the length of the first pressure cooker? It was kind of interesting because I started watching Big Brother in season 8. I didn't see the original pressure cooker. Now, I know all about it because I've seen so many clips and everything else, but I'd never actually seen it played out. And it's funny because as soon as it came on, everyone was so excited. And then people started watching the live feeds, and I started seeing more people posting saying, "Oh, this is so boring. This is horrible." I thought it was fun. It was interesting to see who you thought was going to fall versus who actually did fall. I do have to say, I understand that they wanted to ramp it up a little bit by putting them in the dark and making it a little bit different, right? But the fact that Matt is deaf and now he can't see anything either, I don't know if that helped him or hurt him. There's a part of me that thinks if you could just stay focused and not get distracted by other stuff, then maybe that would help. But it had to be tough for him not to be able really to have much communication at all because of the way they did it. But they had it. Well, let me say this too. If you don't know what happened, if you're a little behind, if you've only watched the episodes on TV, there are going to be spoilers talked about tonight. So I just wanted to warn you ahead of time. But yeah, I love the pressure cooker. You know what I really liked? Did y'all see the one where, was it Matt? I can't remember who opened up the box or the thing that said flies. They open up the box, or a box opens up that's supposed to be filled with flies, and they're all dead in there because it is so cold, which tells you just how cold it really was in that thing. I would have no problem standing there holding a button for days on end. I used to work in an oil field. One of my jobs involved standing in one location for 2 or 3 days straight. I mean, most of the time it wasn't that long, but I had to do it 2.5 days once because a guy got some stuff. Anyway, so I've stayed up for a long time, awake and standing and doing what they did. I think I could do that. The cold, though, that would add a wrinkle to it. I don't like the cold. And there were people like Izzy in there that were just freezing, having a hard time with it. The flies didn't like it either, obviously. But yeah, I love that pressure cooker. It was a lot of fun. All right, so we'll come back to it. But some questions out here. Mark Taylor, who has the best and worst position in the house? Well, let's start off with the worst position. Right now, Blue, maybe. I just feel like Blue is not. No one really feels like they've got a lot of support. Even Corey, who they've got this little showman's flirty kind of thing, even he seems willing to let her go if he needs to. In fact, I think I can't remember if it's Corey that was talking about. Let's say Blue, Jared. So I mean, Jared wants to protect Blue, but I don't know that Jared necessarily has the power. Corey is the one who said, Blue doesn't really do anything for me. She doesn't. She's not a huge threat, but she's also doesn't do anything for me. I feel like Blue is an easy, just almost throwaway kind of eviction one of these upcoming weeks. I just don't see her doing anything that makes me think that she's building alliances with other people that are going to carry her to the end. So I think she is not in a great position. Jag being on the block is probably in a great position, but I actually think that Blue's in a little bit more danger than he is, regardless of whether this flip they're talking about takes place or not. Who's in the best position? You got to say Suri, right? I think she's playing too hard, too fast, and it could come back to haunt her. But right now, she's got Izzy as kind of her attack dog. Izzy's doing all the hard work. Izzy's the one running around because she wants to. That's what she does. But she's the one that wants to run around, make all these deals, get all the information and all of that. And Suri's just kind of sitting back and letting Izzy get all the blood on her hands and present herself as a bigger target. Seems like everyone loves Suri in there, which amazes me. Don't people understand how dangerous she is? But I think she's in a great spot. I think Nicole is in a pretty decent spot too, as long as she starts winning some stuff here a little bit on down the road. Which isn't to say she's safe. We've had some of the ladies in the house kind of criticized Nicole a few times that they don't know if they can trust her and all that. It seems like maybe that's changed a little bit, but I really like Nicole's game where she's just she comes into her room, she just listens, she doesn't spout off a lot of stuff. She makes a few comments to contribute, but basically she's just listening and absorbing everything. I think she's playing for the long run, which I think is what you have to do. So I don't know. I'll say probably Nicole and Suri or who I think are in the best position right now. We'll see if one of them wins it. I don't know if Suri wins it. I think she makes it to top 2 or 3. Who knows? It depends on who feels betrayed or not at that point. All right, Michelle Moore saying, why does Big Brother recruit players? Yeah, you think they just want all super fans and everything else, right? I think it's all about the diversity, and I'm not talking about ethnicity. I'm just talking about diversity in terms of a wide range of people. And sometimes I feel like you don't necessarily always want everyone who understands the game so well that they're going to try out for the show itself. If you find some person that's just a very charismatic personality or just has a look about them that maybe has never heard of the game, I can see how they would want to reach out to some of those people. One, there's some people who have a lot of followers, right? If they're a big social media influencer or something like that. So they'll reach out to people like that. Some of them just look like they are a character that just attracts people to them for whatever reason. So they get some of those. Plus, here's the thing. When I got cast for Big Brother, I tried out. I showed up at a casting call, but I did go to LA for the finals. I met a lot of the people on the production team and all that. So I know now a little bit how the casting works. And certainly they have the little casting calls. They get the videos and all that. But they also have a lot of young people who basically are tasked with just going out and exploring social media exploring nightclubs, going into, I know, Starbucks to look for baristas and all that. There's a lot of people whose only job is to look around and see who maybe jumps out at them as someone that would be interesting to have on the show. So I think it's just the nature of the beast. They want as much variety as they can, and that includes the people who really know the show and those who may not understand it at all, but they're going to bring all kinds of chaos to the house as a result. I don't mind a few recruits. Now, when I was in the house, I was very much kind of the opinion that the recruits, they're just here for other reasons than playing the game. So, man, boot them out the door. I want to play with the real social player, with the real fans of the game. But in reality is you need a little bit of everything. All right. Cindy Hire saying, love the background, BB Comic Verse, and Terry Thomas saying, were you excited to your picture and will a house flip or not? All right. Well, let's talk about the BB Comic first. Did y'all see that? It's so cool. I had no clue. No, they don't tell me anything. I had no clue that I was going to show up when that came on, and just watching the episode like everyone else is like, hey, I think that's me. Yeah, it was cool. What'd they say? Something about people who've been animals before or something. Well, that was just my BB comic, but that's all right. It's still pretty neat. And I was kind of blown up, right where they walk in and everything else. What's really cool is I thought they just took my BB comic and just did a highlight around it or something, Photoshop. No, Tom Wynn is the guy who did my comic. There's about 3 different comic book artists who do all of the comics every year for BB Comics. And a guy named Tom Wynn did mine. And I reached out to him afterwards and said, hey, just really thank you for doing a comic of me. Yeah, I'm really impressed. It's so cool. And he came back and said, oh, you're most welcome. He posted a thing saying how honored he was that Big Brother production had reached back out to him and asked him to kind of reimagine or take the original comics and redo them for this particular competition. So they didn't just take my old comic and just cut around or anything. He actually took the old one and drew it up a little bit differently and all of that. And I still like it. I still have that comic here at the house. That'll my poor ancestors or descendants are going to say, what is this weird thing with old great grandpa dressed like a groundhog? That's so strange. And then someone will say, yeah, he's on some show on TV way back. And that's when they'll say, what's TV? Well, I never heard that. What's that? What's Big Brother? I don't know. Well, maybe not. But yeah, it was really cool to see. I enjoyed it. All right. What was the other question about will a house flip or not? I think they will. And for those of you who aren't aware, the original plan was to send Jag out the door and keep Blue. And everyone, I got to get Jag out. He's such a great player and everything else. Jag went in, and originally I think he talked to Corey, a few others, but he talked to Corey and said, oh, look, I'm going to fight for you. I'll win for you. I'm good at competitions. You've got to know that by now. Corey told Sari that, and Sari immediately said, well, what an idiot. Doesn't he realize that's why we're sending him out, because he's so good at competitions? But then she had a little change of thought, because I think she started getting worried. She had heard that America had found out about the 7 Deadly Sins alliance. And I think she and Izzy and Felicia, to some degree, anytime they've got a little downtime, they start thinking things over and over in their head. They start spiraling. They start getting paranoid. And suddenly Sari started thinking that everyone's not working with her must suddenly be working against her. And now she's looking at all the people that she doesn't consider tight in her alliance and seeing them winning or potentially winning these different HOH competitions. I think the fact that she went out of that HOH so early, that Jared went out so early in the competition, that everyone, Nicole was really the only person in their alliance who lasted for a while. I think because of that, she suddenly is fearful that the other side of the house could just win HOH after HOH. And she says at one point, they're just going to pick us off 1 week at a time, one person at a time. So with that all being said, Jag came in and talked to Sari and said, I'm true to the 7 Deadly Sins. That's who I'm riding with. I'm not promising this to anyone else except this alliance. I will fight to the end. I'll win these things and I'll protect all of us. And as much as Sari said that he was an idiot for that strategy, I feel like it worked. I feel like she's looking now at Jag as being someone who can win comps and protect them. And so, yeah, I think she's all on board. She's convinced Izzy and Felicia, I think, to come on board as well. We heard Corey telling America that he really would just as soon see Jag stick around over Blue, that he doesn't think Blue does anything for him. So he'd like to see Jag win. I think there's a lot of people who are going to to flip. Now, Jared doesn't like it. Jared got all upset talking to Suri and Felicia and saying, yeah, and you've lost, not Felicia, it was just Suri saying, you've lost my trust. If you're going to do this and push it, I'm done. So he doesn't like it, but I think everyone else does. Now, here's the kicker. Are they going to tell anyone that they flipped, or are they just going to flip and let the votes keep Jag in and just play dumb and not really claim that they were the ones behind it? That's the curiosity. Is it going to turn into another unanimous or close to unanimous vote to send Blue out the door? Or are we going to have a very close split vote and people are going to be wondering who voted for who? I kind of hope it's the latter, because that's going to create that much more drama and chaos. But yeah, the short answer is I do think the flip's going to work. I think Jag will be sticking around, which I'm all for. Nothing against Blue, but I kind of want to see Jag stick around and see what he can do. I was cheering for the guy to start with, still cheering for him. So we'll see. We got a few days. They can flip about 50 times between now and then. All right, Karen W. saying, good evening to everyone from Vegas. Hey, howdy, Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Who did you vote for last week in America's Vote? I spread mine out a little bit. Let's talk about that some. For those of you who don't know, you get to vote for 4 people. Those 4 people each get a shot to fight in a competition. The winner gets immunity. With immunity, then you can, it sounds like for the next 2 weeks, you can pull yourself off the block. You can pull someone else off. I don't quite understand the rules. I'm wondering, does it mean that if, say, Blue won the immunity, could she, after she's voted out, say, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I'm staying in the house? Or does it have to be done before the vote occurs? I don't know. Well, we don't know the rules just yet. If some of y'all have heard, let me know, because I have been trying to figure it out. But who I voted for, I don't know. Let me tell you who I think is going to win, even more so than who I voted for. I could easily see Corey winning one of the 4 spots. I could see America winning one of the 4 spots. They're little showmans. I think a lot of people are buying into right now. It's kind of innocent and fun and all that. But I could see Corey and America. Matt's not. He's gotten a few people mad, a few things he said here lately. But I still think Matt could potentially get one of the spots. Jag, because he was so threatened this week, looked like he was going to go out the door when it was first announced this contest. I could see a lot of people voting for Jag to try to give him protection. And then the 5th one, I know there's only 4 slots, but the 5th one I'm going to throw out there is Suri, because she's so popular. And I just think a lot of people are going to vote for Suri because they want to see her protected. I don't want Suri to get it. Nothing against her. It's just I feel like she already has a little bit of an advantage because she's a returning player and so famous for Survivor and all of that. And because she has Jared in the house with her, which normally I think is an advantage. The way Jared's opening his mouth, it may be just the opposite. We'll talk about that too. But yeah, I just do not see Suri get the power just because that's too easy. She already seems like she's pretty well protected. So Corey, America, Matt, and Jag, I'd be okay with that. Y'all have different feelings. I know Ma had posted a few different votes as well. So I don't know. We're going to see how that works out. All right. Lucinda S saying, enjoying your morning recaps. Thank you. I certainly appreciate it. It is hard when I do these morning recaps at the beginning of the season where you have 16 people. Some of them go to bed early and everything. Bowie Jane's been trying to and not having so much success with it. But it's hard when there's so many people, which means there's so many conversations going on. I sit down and I do the notes throughout the evening. And then before I'm ready to record, I typically take these notes. I read back through them to make sure I can actually understand what I wrote and typed and all of that. There are times where I read back through and think, oh my God, I'm going to be talking for an hour if I try to cover this. So then I have to try to pick and choose what turned out to be really the important conversations versus some that you never know who's being serious when they talk or when someone's just playing someone else off. So I never know for certain. It gets a little easier as we get later in the season where there's 7, 8, 9 people, and then suddenly the conversations, you can tell easier what ones are important and there's not as many taking place. But thank you. I appreciate that. I have fun doing it. All right. Chris Tyne saying, hey, Chris, I'm cracking up at Blue kissing up to Felicia instead of Suri. Jared hasn't told her yet. Excuse me. Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen it, those of you who don't know it, Jared, big mouth Jared. Yeah, I thought I had a big mouth when I got overheard in the house, but at least mine wasn't intentional. Jared, during his little kissy kissy sessions with Blue, he just can't keep a secret at all. He keeps him hawing around, and he finally just basically came out and said, what if my mom was in this house? Or I don't even think it was that much of a what if. It was more of, yeah, I could have my mom in this house, and what would you think about that, Blue? And just on and on. I didn't realize while I was watching that, because we know it's Suri, right? I didn't realize while watching that Blue actually was eventually buying into it. I guess Blue kept saying, "It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me whatsoever." God, it would affect me. But then at the end of all of that, it turns out that she thinks he's talking about Felicia. Is his mom, which I guess makes him Denzel Washington's nephew, right? Because Cameron thinks that Denzel and Felicia are brother sister, which is pretty funny as well. So yeah, so now Blue, I think, must think that Felicia is Jared's mom. So right before the show started this afternoon, I'm watching the feeds, and yesterday we had Blue hitting up Felicia, asking about family names and talking about grandkids and all this kind of stuff. Well, then I saw her today, and she's just hanging around Felicia, and she's asking all kinds of questions and going on and on about why she loves Jared so much, that he's just so special, and just blah 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 blah. And she's doing it all in front of who she thinks is Felicia, is Jared's mom, Felicia, which isn't the case. And they showed a few shots while she's doing that, and Sari is just kind of over the side, also listening, has the biggest smile on her face. As far as I know, neither Felicia or Sari know that Jared said anything at all to Blue. So they're not aware that she's kissing up because she thinks that one of them is Jared's mom. I think they probably just figure that she's just kissing up because she's on the block and wants their protection and all of that. So yeah, it's pretty funny. What is Felicia going to do when she finds out that Jared and Sari are related? Will she take it in stride, or is she going to be a little chapped and suddenly fear for her position in the game? And I don't know. Can y'all picture a situation, Felicia and Izzy versus Jared and Sari? I can't, because even knowing that Jared and Sari are mom and son, I think Izzy would still stick with them over Felicia, just because I don't know why. You got to figure those two are going to take each other. But yeah, I'm curious to see what Felicia is going to do with it. All right. Jason Drew saying Izzy could have the most power. She needs to get Felicia in on the loop and team up. Yeah, well, there you go. So just what we were talking about. Felicia needs to act like she just figures out Jared and Sari. Now, that's a good thought. I really like that second part. Don't throw the blame on Izzy and create all kinds of chaos within that group. Yeah, you're right. Just say, I notice a lot of similarities between the two of y'all. In fact, Felicia could almost use that as an honesty test, right? Just start hinting around at it and see if Sari or Jared spill the beans at any point. If they do, well, then maybe you think, all right, they're willing to work with me. If they wait until the very last minute and still don't acknowledge that that there's a relation, then if I'm Felicia, maybe I'm thinking, maybe they don't really trust me as much as I would hope and think that they do, and I'll handle it accordingly. So yeah, I think that's a great idea, not to let them know that Izzy spilled the beans. I just don't know if Izzy's going to do it. It's almost like hero worship. I feel like if Sari and Izzy were on the block together, that Izzy would probably just throw her arms up and say, yeah, I give up. Just send me out the door, because the queen doesn't deserve to go home. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe she's just playing up Izzy or Sari a little bit as well. And at the end, she's going to get a little ruthless and do what has to be done. I hope so, but I just don't see it right now. Izzy just is. She likes a persona that's Sari, it seems like. So long season left to go. All right. Helene's Blend is saying, do you think when Jared disappeared for a while, he was instructed by Big Brother to spill the beans about his mom to Blue? That's an interesting thought. I can't see Big Brother telling him he has to tell her. Now, could they tease him? Not tease, that's the wrong word. Could they talk him into telling her? Maybe. I don't see production saying you have to tell her, tonight or something. Because what are they going to do? That should not be the expectation that you have to do something that's going to hurt your game so much. But I could see Big Brother producers saying something to Jared like, what's going to happen if Blue heads out the door and then finds out that y'all are related? If that happens, is there any chance that she would, be interested in you after that? Or I just feel like they may have gotten him nervous that if he didn't spill the beans when he can, that maybe she's going to be upset with him for not telling her, not trusting her, and all of that. And so they may have gotten in his head a little bit and gotten him to suddenly think, well, if I want her and I to, we need to have trust with each other. And this is what my way of buying trust is, by telling her this deep secret. And if I tell her that, then she's going to love me all the more because, I trust her. And therefore, who knows what may happen in the last week or two we've got. Yeah, I could see something like that. I don't think they came out and said, you got to tell her. I think it's more they may have just talked him into it. I don't put it past production to have a little manipulation involved, but I don't think they forced him. All right. I could be wrong, though. Taylor Mangus is saying, do you think Sari will have to turn on Jared eventually? Wouldn't that be interesting? Now, we saw that in Survivor. Was it Blood versus Water? And I do not remember the mother-daughter duo where the daughter, she booted her mom. She didn't seem to think twice about it. Would Sari turn on Jared? Maybe she ought to, the way Jared is opening his mouth right now. I don't think so, though. I mean, mom, would my mom turn on me? I hope not. But Sari's a great player. I don't know if she does that. I think she would only do it. I think even if it came down to both of them being on the block, how do you campaign against your son? I think the only way she would do it is if it was obvious to her that if she went home, Jared was going to be going home the very next vote out or something, like in a double or something like that. And at that point, maybe she'd say, well, better that he head on out because I'm in a better position after he's gone, and trying to justify it to yourself. But I don't think she's going to turn on Jared. I sure don't think she's going to pick Izzy over Jared. I think she wants to take him to the very end, and I think she thinks that she will beat him in the very end. How brutal would that be if it came down to her and Jared and, I don't know, Izzy or Felicia or Nicole, whoever, and she didn't take him to the final two? That seems like Thanksgiving dinners from that point on would be awkward, and to say the least. So now I think she takes him to the very end. Would he take her to the very end? I don't know. I think that's more iffy than the other way around. I can see Jared saying, look, Mom, I want to take you, but you've won a lot of money already. This is my time to shine. And I'm sorry, I can't be dragging you around this house and protecting you. It is what it is. Because, Jared's the best player in the house. I think he said that. No, not me. I think Jared has not played the best guy. He's a social player. But there's a few things he's done that probably weren't the best thing, like opening your mouth and telling your secrets. All right, what do we have on here? Ma says people are saying Sari is the new Paul. Thoughts? No, I'm not sure I agree with that because, well, depends on how you're talking about Paul. Paul had, I remember when I went in, I think during the audition process, even during maybe my diary room interview with Jeff Schroeder, I said, I'm not going to be in there like Paul, like the house guests around Paul. They're just all worshiping the whole time. I'm not doing that. Because yes, in some ways, I think she's like Paul, in that it just seems like people were willing to bend over backwards to help Paul make it to the end. It amazed me how they just didn't see him as a target, that the threat that he turned out to be. So in that way, yeah, I could see her as the new Paul. Where I don't see the similarity is I felt like Paul was a lot more in your face. He wasn't shy about jumping in front of someone saying, you're going home. I'm not putting up with it. Whereas I think Sari wants to be a little bit more blending into the background, let other people do a lot of the heavy lifting. And then she's just there to absorb the love at the end and get the jury votes. Paul was a little bit more aggressive, a little more active in some of his actions and things that he did. He didn't mind, I don't think, antagonizing some people in order to create some divisions and create some animosities that he thought would help send people out the door. So in that respect, I see a lot of differences between them. In terms of hero worship, Yeah, maybe not so much. Huh? That's a good point, Ma. All right, Andrea Butler is saying Blue holds the biggest info in the house. Oh, doesn't she? Or isn't and isn't using it? She is on the block. I know it. It amazes me. You're right. She has. I guess Izzy has more information than anyone does, but Blue certainly could be using this. It looks like she's using it, I think, the wrong way. She's using the information to try to get in tighter with Jared's mom. But really, it should be more of a threat, right? That, hey, I'm going to blow the game wide open if I don't get a little protection here and all that. But you got to be careful with that because if I'm Suri and I find out the Blue's been hinted to about the whole relationship and all that, I'm booting her rear end out as quick as I can before she gets a chance to tell everyone else, and hoping that if she does tell everyone else that you can just shut it down and say, yeah, Jared just blowing steam. No, we're not related. Once the word gets out, I think a lot of people are going to start looking a little differently and wondering and all that. But I also think there's a lot of people in the house who are probably thinking that no, the twist is already that we've got this celebrity of Suri Fields coming into the house, that she would come in and she has a son in the house as well. It may be a little tougher buying for that as well. But I got to say, Blue's got the information. If she heads out the door on Thursday and she doesn't say a word about it, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed. One, because it tells me that she did not play a very good game whatsoever. Two, because Jared deserves to have some major repercussions for spilling the beans in the first place. And if she goes out the door and there's no one else finds out about it, well, that's kind of disappointing. Now, whether she ought to be using it as part of her campaign pitches before she even starts, I think. But even if it's just as she's voted out, as she's walking out the door, she says, "Hey, by the way, everyone, what's going to happen if she says, if she's walking out the door, she says, oh, by the way, everyone, you just may want to know that Jared told me that he and Felicia are mother and son. So bye, guys." And then Felicia's got to have a look on her face like, what in the hell are you talking about? Everyone else is going to be looking at the two of them, trying to compare the faces and all of that. And Cameron's going to be jumping around. I knew everyone's related in here. Yeah, that would be funny. That would be a comedy of errors if she says that on the way out the door. And she may. That's typical of this season. All right, Karen Berkey saying, I think Nicole is the logical winner. I think that could be the case. And Butterflies 015 saying, Mimi has better conversations with herself than most of them do with each other. Yes, I agree with both of those. I like her conversations to the camera because she's spelling out what's going on in her mind or listing out what's going on in her mind. She was talking a day or two ago. She's saying, most 90% of these conversations don't mean anything. They carry no value. She said something about the only people I want to talk to are the ones that have a $750,000 check in their back pocket, something like that. She's recognizing when you've got 13 people and 28 different alliances, how do you know that anyone telling you anything is true? Especially when they're not just talking to you, but there's a couple of other people in here who may or may not be in the legit alliance of the day or the week or whatever. She's recognizing there's a lot of people that are just talking and everyone else knows that they're not being truthful, but then they're saying stuff and they're not being truthful either. And I feel like Nicole's a little bit like I'd be at some points, and they're saying, why even bother? Why? It's like when I got booted out, blindsided. I won the battle back, came back in, and Mickey and Holly are trying to say, oh, that was part of our grand plan. We knew that Nicole didn't have a chance to win that battle back, but you did, and we need both of you in here. This was all planned because we knew you could win this thing and come back in the house. And I'm sitting there, yeah, oh, okay. Inside, I'm thinking the same thing I think Nicole thinks a lot of. Don't even bother, guys. Just own it. Just say what's actually happening. Own it and move on. I don't need to hear your fluff, your excuses that I know is not legit. And yet here you are telling me, and I've got to pretend like I believe you, and no one believes anything. So yeah, I think Nicole a logical winner. Yeah, she needs to win a few competitions though. You can't coast all the way. I thought she was going to win the pressure cooker. She did not move. She could have been a zombie in there or something. She was incredible, and then she just accidentally let go, I guess. But yeah, I think she needs to win a few competitions, take a little control of the game, get out some people. They don't have to be huge moves. Just get out some people that help her side a little bit. so that people feel like she's contributing. Then towards the end, win a few competitions, maybe make a big move at the end, and suddenly she could be there at the very end. I think it's feasible. I'm cheering for her. She was wearing a TSU shirt. Texas Southern University is based here in Houston, so yeah, I'm buying it. I'm fine with it. I just need to figure out, is it Nicole or Mimi? Because I keep hearing both said, and I never know which one to use. But yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about, right? All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Carbell saying uh, Corey has great potential, but is getting blindsided by America. Yeah, I know. I kind of hate to see it. He was talking on the hammocks yesterday. For a while, it was just him before America came back. And he said, I'm not going to throw my game away for a showmance. I'm not going to do it. But then he also said, I wonder if I'm putting my game in a threat, if I'm hurting my game by even pairing up with her at all. And he has said before that he feels like he can talk very logically. He does debate. He feels like he can be very logical in his arguments, his persuasions with everyone except America. And with America, he has said before he feels like a 10-year-old boy. So yeah, I don't. At first, I thought America was just playing him, and I think she still is to some degree. He's 21. America's a lot older than him. There's no way this thing extends beyond Big Brother. But on the other hand, she at one point she said, "You're kind of my type, Corey," and he said, "Oh, you go for the the dorky white boys or something." And so yeah, he's recognizing that maybe they in the real world, yeah, who knows what would happen. But I do feel like she likes him, but I also do feel like she's very much playing the game. Also, well, nothing wrong with that. I think he's in a good position, but you're right. And he's tried to distance himself from America, saying, she's a little too uh, off the cuff and all of that. And she's not really patient enough and too impulsive, I think is the word he used. So he's tried to tell other people that. But when the two of them get together, yeah, I don't know, we'll see how that goes. All right, Karen Ward saying, if they do All Stars again, would you play Big Brother again? Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I'd have to check in with the family and see what's going on with work and all that, and make sure that the opportunity. It's certainly a sacrifice to go into that house, and so I'd have to make sure everyone was good with that. But just from a general information standpoint, yeah, I'd love to play the game of Big Brother again. It would be interesting to play with a lot of people from different seasons. That'd be fun. It'd be a blast. Astro Boy is saying Sari needs to get nominated. That would knock her down a peg or two, wouldn't it? I'd be very interested to see if Sari and Izzy got nominated together. If that wouldn't create a little bit of a shock for them. Now, here's something. We were talking about this immunity power a little while ago, and I think that voting ends tonight, so you just have a little more time to call in and vote. I remember during my season, they had that field trip, America's field trip, where they voted for 3 people who had to compete. The winner got immunity, which was Mickey. I thought he was going to get put up that week. Otherwise, I think he would have. He could have gotten sent home. How would that have changed the game? But one person got immunity. One person got a punishment, which was Sis in the chicken costume. And one person got nominated for eviction, was the third nominee, and that was Christy. Tommy won the veto. Otev pulled her right back off. So it's kind of a waste. But that field trip voting, we knew the 3 people who got picked, obviously. And we knew that they were not liked by America. We kind of said, oh, they probably like you. They probably wanted you to have the immunity and all that. We knew, or at least I knew. If you got picked for that thing, if you got picked potentially to be a third nominee, you weren't America's favorite at all. And so there were a lot of repercussions of that. Suddenly people realizing that they just weren't necessarily fan favorites, the way they were playing and all of that. And at that point, you start seeing some people get a little bit nicer to some of the other people in the house to some degree, a small degree. I wonder this week what's going to happen. These 4 people are going to win this power to compete for immunity. Is the house going to be told what's going on and that 4 people get a chance to compete? Or is it going to be blind competitions? No one knows who's competing until you have a winner. And even that winner probably is not going to be announced, right? No one's going to know anything. Theoretically, if no one ever used that power, would you never even know the rest of the house that this thing happened? I don't know. I hope not, because if they announce the 4 people who got America's vote to have a chance to fight for that thing, and you're not one of those four, it's going to make some people really reevaluate their game. If you're Sari or Izzy and you don't get the vote, or say you're Izzy and Sari gets a vote and Felicia gets a vote and you don't, is that going to make you really double think about what America thinks about you? And you start thinking down that road, and next thing you're thinking is, oh my God, not only do they not like me, but they may hate me. I may be the villain in this house. So what can I do differently to maybe change America's opinion, or do I just live with it? Beyond the actual mechanics of the game and getting power, if they announce who got America's vote and who didn't, I think that's going to shake some people up who are going to get nervous about their position in the game as far as America was watching. Because trust me, we're all in there. And I think most of us worry about how we're being received by the viewers. I know I was in there thinking, am I being portrayed as just this dawdling old idiot old guy, or the strategic guy? I wasn't really sure. I think everyone thinks the same thing. And so if you get any information like an America vote, then you start trying to build stories behind that. So I hope they announce who got these 4 votes. We'll see. But yeah, that'll be fun. All right, win by TKO. I loaded all votes on America. I think a lot of people have done that. I believe this is like season 12 Survivor Immunity Idol that Yul won. Man, I love Yul. Yul was just, I've never met him at any of the events they have over in Orlando or somewhere else, but Yul was one of my absolute favorites when he won that thing. Still one of my favorites. It's interesting because there's a lot of different strategies. I've seen a lot of people saying they put all their votes on America. I saw some people saying they put half their votes on who they wanted to go, and they put the other half on people that they think would not do very well in competition so that their person can win. I've seen people split the votes between a couple of people. I've seen people cast votes all for Jag, not because he's necessarily their favorite, but because they think that maybe he's the one that's most in danger and they just want to see chaos in the house. There's so many different ways you can vote. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, at the end of the day, we're counting on CBS to tell us who the top 4 votes are, right? I'm not ever saying that they would ever tweak the results to get the 4 people they want to give maximum dramatic effect. I'm not saying that at all. We have to depend on them to tell us who the votes were. But there's a lot of different reasons that you would vote for or against a person on these votes. And I guess once we know who those 4 are, we're going to be reading all kinds of stuff into it based on who they are. I kind of hope it's just the 4 people that are considered the favorites of America right now, but maybe not. We may have someone sneak in. What if it turns out to be like Cameron and Red and Izzy and I don't know who else is out there that there's a lot of people that maybe don't like. If it's all the people that aren't maybe considered the favorites of the house, if they get all the votes, that could be kind of fun too. What would the house think about that if they're the ones that got America's vote? All right. Lewis Cobb saying, doesn't Jared know his mom will see his behaviors after the show and his alleged girlfriend? Alleged is a good way to put it. He was talking last night and he said, I haven't been away apart from my girlfriend this long ever. It's been a month I've been apart from my girlfriend. He didn't say my ex-girlfriend. I don't know. I guess Jared's relationship is, I don't know, pretty fluid and pretty open, I suppose. But then Blue came back and was talking about making a trip to California and saying, we'll take our significant others with us and all that. And Jared saying, no, we're not doing that. I think alleged is a good way to put it, because I can't imagine that a girl, I don't know, maybe she told him before he went into the house. She said, if flirting around, if he's doing more than flirting, if you have to do some things in order to win the money, go for it. I'm not sure he's doing these things to win the money, though. He's just doing it because he's of that age. And I don't know. Yeah, as far as Cerise seeing it all later, I think Jared just doesn't care. I guess it would be awkward. It would be very awkward to be in the house with your mom watching on the HOH monitor or whatever. Yeah, a very weird situation. All right, my mom's out there. Hey, Mom. Speaking of moms, I love my mom. I'm probably okay that my mom wasn't in the house with me, and I wasn't even having a showmance in there. My mom's saying, yeah, your mom would not turn on you ever. I know my mom would. She would be like Evil Dick in season 8, where he felt like people were going after Danny, and suddenly he started banging the pots and pans and all of that. My mom would turn into to Mama Tiger, going after anyone who was going after me. She did that while I was inside the house. I have a feeling, based on the conversations I heard between my wife and my mom, when they saw people plotting against me and all of that, we're probably pretty lucky that my mom wasn't pole vaulting over the backyard fence just to get in and give me some warnings and all that. My mom could have easily been the wall yeller during my season. So yeah, no, she would never turn on me. She would be fighting every step of the way. But yeah, I'm ready to see you on Big Brother, Mom. But I'm probably okay that you weren't in there while I was in there, because I'd hate to have to turn on you too, which I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. Never in a million years. All right, Patricia Miller saying Jared is going to flip out when Blue goes Thursday. Oh, is he? Yeah. Melanie Soros is saying, what if Blue blows up the game on her way out? And she may. I kind of think she should. Why not? Leave it all on the table if you're going out the door. Unless, here's the thing. She may not do it because she knows that's going to hurt Jared's game. And if she likes Jared, she may think, oh, he didn't know, whatever. I'm not going to hurt him just because I'm spiteful or whatever. She may not, unless she thinks that he knew about the flip and just didn't tell her. And if that's the case, then who knows what she says going out the door. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting Thursday night. My guess is she will not say it as she's walking out the door. If she's gonna say it, I think she needs to say it ahead of time. But as I said before, if she does say it going out the door, I hope she says, "Oh, and by the way, Jared's Felicia's son," and then that will just be the cherry on the cherry on top. And that'd be great. All right, Lois Cobb also saying, "What will Felicia do when she finds out the secret?" Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Is she going to flip? She may feel like she's really been taken advantage of if she finds this out, especially if she finds out that it's just Jared and Sari. Obviously, they know that, right? Yeah. If she thinks it's just the two of them that have known this all along, maybe she understands when they say, "Look, we couldn't tell you. There's just no way we could tell you." If she finds out that Izzy knew from the very beginning, she may actually be more upset than Izzy than she's going to be upset at Jared and Sari, because she's going to understand why they maybe didn't tell her. But she's going to be PO'd at Izzy for not spilling the beans and bringing her in on it as well. I don't understand Felicia's relationship with the other with Izzy and Sari and Jared. I mean, they feel so tight with each other, especially the three ladies. They feel so tight with her. I gotta think that Felicia thinks that she is tighter with Sari than Izzy. I would think she thinks that. She may feel betrayed by that more so even than Jared and Sari and their relationship. But I'll say this. I did not like when I found out that Christy and Tommy knew each other in the house. I did not like when I found out that Kat and Holly knew each other when I was in the house. I would not like it if I found out Sari and Jared were related. I wouldn't necessarily hold it against them, but I sure wouldn't reward them for it. And I would take that in consideration when it came to a jury vote, with the assumption that they had an advantage because of that. And I would be less inclined to vote for one of them to win the whole thing just because of their relationship inside the house. There may be other jurors that think about that as well. My season of Big Brother, I don't feel like we really had bitter jurors. We voted for the most part on who we thought played the best game. I'm not sure that's the case this season. I could see some bitter folks when it comes to the very end. If there's enough secrets revealed, if there's enough twists and things that happen, I can see some people trying to punish some players at the very end. It's early in the season, so that may not be the case, but I could see a few of those. We'll find. I think Jared could be a little bitter juror if it comes down to it, if he makes it to jury, which I assume he will, unless Sari finds out about what he's been up to, and he may be our last pre-juror of the season if that's the case. I think she'd cut him loose if she found out everything that he's done so far. Mother, son, whatever. I may have said before that she wouldn't do that. Based on what he's done so far, I may reevaluate that opinion because she thinks he's going to drag her down with him the way he's opened up his mouth. Maybe, maybe. All right, Tommy Braskets is saying, I hope the plan to keep Jag works and see Cameron and Red's faces. Yeah, well, yes. And here's another thing. Izzy told, I think she told Sari, or Felicia, I can't remember which one. She said, I really want to see Cameron's face when Jag is saved and Blue goes out the door. I just feel like Sari has reasons that she wants to protect Jag. She thinks it helps her game. He's going to win contests, things like that. Now, Sari maybe wants Blue. She may think that's the reason that she wants Jag to stay. I think subliminally there may be some inclinations for her to want Blue gone too, because she knows that Blue and her son are a little tighter than maybe she wishes they were. So there may be some personal reasons for Sari, but I definitely think there's some personal reasons for Izzy. Izzy isn't saying, oh, it's going to be better for my game to keep Jag or anything else. She kind of agrees with Sari, but she's not vocalizing that. What she's vocalizing is, I want to see Cameron's face. She is almost wanting to save Jag just because she knows that that's not what Cameron wants. And she wants to intentionally do what Cameron and Red do not want to see happen. It's that level of opposition. She was upset. She was at one point saying, they're not special. Why should they think they get to be special? I need to make sure they know that they are not special at all. So I feel like Izzy's got a little bit of a chip on her shoulder for whatever reason with these guys. And so she has, I said before, I'll say it now, a little bit of a pettiness about why she wants them gone. And it has to do with just her intense dislike of Cameron. Now, I'll give her credit. She went in and talked to Cameron and Red and tried to act like they're okay. Yeah, they may not be the best of friends, but they certainly can work together and all that. No. Yeah, as soon as she gets a chance, she's putting those two guys up. And I think they missed out by not putting her up this week because you go after the person who's going to try to target the worst, I think. But, we'll see if they pay the price or not. HOH is going to be huge this week. All right, Taylor Mangus is saying, I think Sari is playing like Derek, pulling all the strings behind the curtain, using other house guests to do her dirty work. I agree. A perfect comparison. I really hadn't thought of Derek when I was talking about that, but you're right. It's one thing when you can con someone. It's even better when you can con someone and they don't find out it's you. It's even better when you can con someone and they blame someone else for it, right? And I feel like that's what Sari's doing right now. Not only is she controlling the game, but she's got the target on Izzy in terms of a lot of what she's doing. I'm amazed that Red and Cameron just expressed their love for Sari. We trust Sari 100%. Explicitly, we trust Sari. Why? And even if you trust Sari 100%, why would you not get someone out that so many people trust 100%? Hey, it's a little frustrating that she's almost just getting a free pass. But she has to get credit for some of it. She just has that social game about her. It is funny that I think it was Cameron and Red talking, and I can't remember which one said it to the other. I think it's Red that said it to Cameron that, oh, we've got Sari in our back pocket, that she's so into us, and she'll be able to control Izzy. In other words, if Izzy wins HOH, Sari will be able to talk Izzy off the ledge and not put the two of us up and go after the alliance. And Sari, we've got Sari taken care of. Yeah, don't be counting on it, guys. I think you're confusing who is wrapped around whose finger at this point in time. Because I think if Izzy wins HOH, she won't be able to resist but to put those two guys on the block. I see no other options that she would consider. So they need to be ready for it. And they are. They are not ready. There's a lot of bad reads taking place in this house right now. All right, BJ Ferry saying it'll be crazy when they do the competition, when they mix up faces and the house still doesn't know. All right. I read the first part of that and I was going to say, yeah, they haven't done that face merge in a long time. And I don't know if they ever will again. But the second part of that opinion is pretty funny. Yeah, they could mix up Sari and Jared's faces and be a little curious to see if anyone noticed or if that created additional confusion. That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, that I really was. I spent so much time looking at this memory board, trying to remember everyone's faces, thinking that would be one of our final like final three, final four, maybe even final five competitions. I was just certain they were going to have that. The way I made it work, I took a paper towel roll and I held that up in front of my face so that I could only see like a nose or I could only see a mouth. I couldn't see the whole face. So it forced me to focus in on one body part at a time. And I'll tell you what, uh, eyes, noses, I could describe every person in my house. I could describe their noses based on the way it appeared to me. There is and I'm not going to give names out. There's a person in the house who has a nose that looks like a Daytona race car with the wheels on the back. There's a person who has a nose that looks like it's an airplane. Uh, every nose of my memory board, I compared it to some inanimate object to try to help me remember. And I did that with the eyes, the chins, the mouth, everything. I was ready for that competition, and then we never got it. Instead, we got these hard physical ones. What are you going to do? All right. Kayla DeWar is saying, how do they keep hooking up from showing on the, how do they keep hooking up? Oh, from showing on the feeds. Well, they don't really, every once in a while they'll cut away, but for the most part, they just kind of have to hope that maybe they're underneath a blanket. Goofballs. How do they not think that they're going to be on TV? I've heard people this season, just like my season, saying, "Oh, wonder what time the live feeds are on." Well, let's see, what time is it? Yeah, live feeds are on. The only time you know live feeds aren't on is when they're playing music, when they wake you up in the morning, and they don't play that many songs. It better be a very quick hookup if you're going to do something then, or during lockdowns before the live eviction show. They don't. You hope that if you're too explicit, maybe they do cut away for a little bit, but there's no guarantee of it. You just may be creating an OnlyFans account right there on Big Brother national TV. I don't know. Holly and Mickey asked me about that while I was out. So, Cliff, do they ever turn the feeds off if you don't have the blankets over you and stuff? And I really wanted to say, oh yeah, no, just do it like that, and then they won't show anything. But yeah, I don't want to create issues for them when they get out of the house. So yeah, no, they just say, well, it's up to you what you want to do. All right, 7:59, so quick. Andrea Butler saying, I think they have 2 more evictions until jury. I think you're right. Yes, I agree. 2 weeks, which means say Blue goes home this week, 1 more person goes home, and then you go into the jury phase, unless whoever wins this immunity power somehow uses it, pulls someone off the block or pulls someone that's been evicted, saves them, brings them back into the house. So kind of like a battle back of some sort. And then suddenly maybe you've got 3 weeks until you get to the jury phase. But it could be this power is only good up until the vote, and you still send a person home each of the next 2 weeks. And if that's the case, I think you're right. We'll go into jury phase 2 weeks from now. That's amazing that we're getting to that point. I so remember when we went to jury phase, and Sam was the last person that went home, and then we got to jury. And I remember everyone else is excited. Oh, at least we made it to jury. All I'm thinking is, oh God, don't send me home now. If I've made it this far, if I'm gonna be stuck to the very end of the season, let me play this game to the very end, because I don't want to be stuck in some house for the next 7 weeks. That's still not able to talk to my family or getting outside news. But now I'm not even getting to play for the chance to win Big Brother. I was not happy. I was happy to make jury, but just making jury really didn't do anything for me. There are other people, they didn't care. Once they made jury, they were happy with whatever happened. Yeah, but I remember that flip between pre-jury and post-jury. It's we had pizzas, they celebrated with us and all. It's a big deal, I suppose. So yeah, we're almost there for this season as well. All right, let's see. I think we're gonna have to shut it down, guys. I know there's all kinds of questions. I hope I got to most of them, but we'll see. Let's see. We've got good luck with let's see. Where is that? I thought I saw something. Ma, it's the auditorium haunted. Good luck with your auditions, Ma. Good luck with school in general. Good luck with your auditions as well. And what else? There's something else I was gonna say about. Oh yeah, welcome home from your cruise as well, Maryland. It's Welcome back home. I wish you bring some of that ice from Alaska down here and help keep us cool too. All right, guys, we're gonna shut it down. Uh, Again, as I mentioned the very first, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. Turning on notifications is always nice as well. And you give a thumbs up. You know I'm into the thumbs up, right? All right, guys, y'all have a fantastic Monday. I'll be back tomorrow morning to give a recap of what happened overnight. But for those of you who aren't watching the dailies, why aren't you? But yeah, it's all right. If not, then I will see y'all back Monday night of next week, Labor Day. God, we're already into September. It's amazing. Have a great one, guys. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye. Yeah, go take a nap. Cheers, guys. Bye.